Welcome to Dirt, Sweat, and Gears. We are here at the LA Convention Center for the LA Auto Show. I just wrapped up over at the Radwood Auto Show, and I figured since downtown LA is on my way home, I thought I'd stop in and check in on some of the cars here at the LA Auto Show. I haven't been in yet. I just got in the door. They just checked my vaccine card, my ID, and my ticket, obviously. And so I just arrived. I'm going to stop for a quick pit stop, and then we're going to get in to see some of these cars. I am expecting, it's been a long day. I am expecting to see a lot of EVs, especially considering the branding that they went with this year. I think it's called Recharged. So there's going to be a lot of electric vehicles, but I'm also just really excited overall to see what these auto manufacturers have in store for the future. I really hope it's not all crossovers. I really hope. Welcome back to the office where we are stepping things up a little bit. I've got Fios. That means I can give you higher quality videos starting today. Now, I can't promise that the audio is going to be better or that the source video is going to be better or that the content's going to be better, but I can guarantee that the upload is going to be larger. We're going to be walking through the LA Auto Show, and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts as I walk, just like I did in my last video when we went to Redwood. This time, we're going to do it at the LA Auto Show, and things are going to be a little bit different. Just wait. All right, starting off, we have an electric conversion of this nice little Porsche. These conversions are really popular with the older cars, especially with Porsche. I guess that was one of the first electric conversions was a Porsche just like this. This may have even been the first. I really, really like these cars. In fact, I want to do an EV conversion to my Studebaker. Next up, we have a Cobra. This is a completely new construction, not a conversion. This appears to be a kit car with a really nice frame and just really beautiful package in what is apparently 600 horsepower and plenty of torque, and looks to be a really fun car to drive. Hopefully it's actually a manual. That'd just be awesome. And it has a carbon fiber body, 100% carbon fiber shell with like a built-in carbon fiber racing stripe, which I thought was really neat. Next up, we got these weird little three-wheelers that kind of remind me of the mono something, which was built on the BMW motorcycle frame. It looks like an enclosed motorcycle with two wheels in the front. And now we're up to EVgo. I actually traded stock in EVgo, and I think I got wiped out just like every other one of my trades. We're going to start over here with Subaru because I know we're going to have a lot of crossovers in my future, and I figured I'd start off with a company that actually belongs with crossovers. I'm not inherently biased against crossovers. I think Subaru does them really, really well. And the fact that they're adding an electric crossover into their mix is just so great. Because if you really are out in nature, you don't want to be making a ton of noise. You want to be enjoying nature. You know, and their presentation is just gorgeous. This whole set that they put up is totally high budget. You could tell they put their whole ass into this. This is a great production. Subaru did a good job here, and I'm really looking forward to their future. Not that I actually want to own a Subaru because I'm not a crossover person, but these are really cool cars. This is a really cool car company, and this is their moment to shine, especially when crossovers are all the rage. I really love this thing. The Hyundai rally car. I've watched all of the videos, the Gymkhana videos, and I'm just blown away by every single one of them. Love this car. Love this build. Love what they do. And here's another Subaru rally car. They take this seriously, and it shows in their presentation, and it shows in their cars. Dodge. Is the transmission going to explode at the LA Auto Show? We'll see. And also note that Dodge, this is not an electric vehicle. We're indoors, and they said, fuck it, we're going to blow exhaust all over the place. Next up is Ford, starting with the all-new Bronco, and I am a fan. I'm genuinely a fan of what Ford is doing. And the Bronco is really cool with all of the options out from the factory. They're really, really putting themselves as a direct competitor to Jeep, and it's just great. Everything that Ford does that isn't designed by a marketing department is really great. And it seems like the Bronco is an enthusiast vehicle built for enthusiasts. And my problem with these trucks, though, is that this is a Ranger. And the Ranger is the same size that the F-150 was back in 2002. Like, these trucks are huge, they're getting bigger, and it's a little bit out of control. And I really don't like how big these trucks are. And these beds are useless. They're so short. You may as well just get a trailer. If this bed is all you need, then just get a Jeep with a trailer. Over here, this is what you should be getting if you need space. And this is, I believe, what Ford is going to use to dominate the market. You know, they came out swinging with the F-150 reveal, but they didn't really talk about the van all that much. But the van is what you're going to see replace every fleet vehicle, every transportation vehicle, every executive, those party buses, not really a party bus. Everything where you need space, every conversion van is going to switch over to one of these eventually. Governments are going to be using these vans. This is going to take over the world. It's not going to be the truck. It's going to be this van. If this were a band, the Lightning would be the lead singer, and this would be the drummer. Speaking of lead singer, I know I just kind of shit on this truck, but I am a huge fan. The only thing I don't really like is how short the bed is. If they had a two-door version or a three-door version, I'd be, way on board with that. If it weren't short, or if it weren't a super crew extended enormous cab. Oh, it's a Ford Escape. Oh no, it's just a Bronco Sport. I don't know, it's not so bad. But the real Bronco, when you sit it next to it, it's not the same car. Not even close. It doesn't deserve the same nameplate. This gets me really excited. Ford is doing a crate motor, an EV crate motor. I believe you still have to supply all of your own other parts. You only get the motor, but you can get a Ford crate motor. And this was a little weird. This moment was a little bit annoying and awkward, and I just decided, you know what, fuck it. If this guy's girl wants to pose in front of the truck, I'm just going to be that weirdo that looks like he's also taking pictures of someone else's girlfriend. The Mach-E looks so much better without the handlebar mustache. Not that I want one for myself, but if I did, lowering it is the way to go. This actually kind of looks a lot more like a station wagon, like a car. And it looks so much better. It's still too big for my taste. I just don't like big cars. But that said, this is a great looking car and a great car overall. And all of the reviews, everyone that talks about it loves it. And I can see why. This is awesome. And this is the Maverick pickup truck. With the fender flares, with it lowered the way it is, I actually really like it as a mini truck. And it's still big. It's the size of what a Ranger used to be back in the 90s. But it looks great. I don't know that it deserves the Maverick nameplate because I have an actual Maverick and I can tell you it is nothing like the original Maverick. The original Maverick is a car. This is not a car. This is not even really a truck. we have a crossover. And we have a crossover. And we have a crossover. And another crossover. Oh, and two more crossovers and a crossover and a crossover. Oh, and a crossover. Oh, here's something you don't see every day. It's a car. And this is a Kia. Kia actually makes really nice looking cars. I gotta say. And their performance is really stepping up too. They are... Kia, Hyundai are really doing well. And here's Kia's latest model. It's a crossover. This is actually their new electric platform. I don't know. It looks really good. I guess if it were lowered, it might look a little more car-like. The rear end's, I don't know, a little funky. I'm not really a fan of the rear end. It's the Dodge Douche Mobile. Don't get me wrong. I love that this exists. I love that Dodge is a company that is just saying F you to everything and saying we're just going to build the biggest motors, the fastest, meanest cars. I think it's cool. I love that it's over the top. I don't know. Maybe it's Dodge owners. Oh, look, a crossover. Oh, another crossover. Oh, this might be kind of an SUV? I don't know. That's a proper SUV. That is an SUV. I'm glad that they're still doing Jeep. I love Jeeps. I got nothing bad to say about Jeeps. The Grand Wagoneer, if you think you need something this big and you don't live in Alaska, you need a minivan. Almost nobody needs something that big. Crossover. Ooh, a car. Ooh, oh, wait. That's an Alfa Romeo Giulia. Is that really a car? And here, in typical Edison fashion, we're going to steal Tesla design and build weird vehicles out of them. I don't know. I'm skeptical. This is cool. The De Tomaso Pantera is, I think, even cooler than a Lamborghini Countach because it's got that styling in a much more reliable engine. It's the Ford 302. My favorite part about this area, though, is the nice soft carpets. It was such a pleasure to walk on. Now, see, when you see these three trucks next to each other, yeah, there's definitely a size difference. But, you know, the F-150 is just too fucking big. This is the F-150 is now the size of an F-350. The Ranger is the size of an F-150. The Maverick is the size of a Ranger. And there's no true mini truck anymore. Another gripe that I have is that we have a new Maverick. We don't have an old Maverick. We have an old Bronco, but no old Maverick. That bothers me. I think they need to have my car in this exhibition. And they should pay me. Oh, look, it's a Ford Fusion. I really like the Polestar 2. This is, it's a little big and it's a little tall, but it's still a car. And it's electric. It's got good range, good performance. I like the styling because it's a little more angular. This is a great car. That's a crossover. This is both electric and it has a turbo. How does that work? Oh, crossover. Crossover. So many crossovers. This is the Polestar 1, and I really like it. Not just because of the paint job that would make Neil deGrasse Tyson's head explode, but just it's a two-door car. If this were electric, which I don't believe it is, this would be just an excellent car. In 10 years, this car will be worthless. Art Center, where you spend $50,000 a semester and no one asks you the question, where the fuck is the driver going to sit? Like, okay, I'm going to pause this and rant a little bit about expensive education because this, okay, I get it. It's high art. It's a piece of art, but if you want to be in an industry, if you want to be an industry professional, you need to design something that works. And that's not going to work. And then when I got my actual job working, first thing my creative director did was throw out everything I did and say, none of this is useful. Can't use any of this. You're not making a personal statement here. You're designing something to be sold. This is, to me, just total masturbatory. I'm designing a car to show off what a great designer I am. This isn't designing a car for any demographic, for any market, for any user, because shit, it doesn't even have doors. You know, I fully believe in college. Everyone should go to college, but I also believe that educators, it's their responsibility to teach you the things you need to know to survive in the world. And this car does not tell me that. And this is why the cars that we get from GM, from Ford, from Kia, from Hyundai, from Honda, from Toyota, they have no personality because the designers are off doing crazy, wacky shit that can't possibly be done. And then the marketing team comes in and says, oh, no, that'll never sell. Well, why doesn't the designer design something that's marketable? You know, if we started there, then maybe we get some better looking cars. All right, I'm done. Now we're going to move on to Porsche. At first, I felt like I was walking into the same exhibit that I had seen every year from Porsche. Their designs, to me, you know, a lot of people say they're timeless. To me, it feels old. And I don't know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, they have crossovers. This is a car, though. We saw this earlier, the electric Taycan Turbo, because it has a turbo, but it's also electric, which means it has no need for a turbo. Whatever. This car is a little long. The back door is way too big. It's definitely, I don't know, it feels like it could have been a driver's car, and then someone took it and went, yeah, we gotta fit a car seat in the back. And they went, okay, fuck it, we're just gonna stretch the car out. But this car looks really, really good. And on the inside, it actually does look like a driver's car. Oh, Pfister with their brand new product, the Crossover. Didn't Pfister make a car that was killing people? And then they went bankrupt or something and then got bought up. Toyota. Snapshot of the past. Not a single redesign in 10 years. The same motor for the past 20 years. Toyota. We just take the same motor from 20 years ago and make it really, 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 really complicated. I mean, come on. Tell me you want to work on this. Like, even without the rest of the car here, I don't want to touch that. Look at all those hoses. What a disaster. The one thing I'll say about Toyota, though, is that they're still making cars. They're bland cars. They're boring. But they still have a couple of cars. Nissan was fledgling for a while. They had a lot of problems. But they've made some changes lately, and I think they have actually a really bright future. The Aria, and it's a crossover, but it seems pretty promising. And I'm really happy that the Leaf now has a decent range, because the Leaf is a car. It's a four-door car. A hatchback rear end. It's a little big, a little tall, but it's a car. And it has decent range. And then the Z is I think a masterpiece. The new Z is really really nice. I drove next to one out in Torrance after Radwood, and this is a driver's car. This is an enthusiast car. They were really trying to do a good job and fill the niche market of people that like driving. I believe the new Z even comes with a manual transmission, which is really hard to come by these days. This car, the original Z, I think it's kind of a shame they picked one that looks like it's primer from a distance, but it's beautiful. Now we're in a Mazda with their crossover and their crossover and their crossover. Honda still makes the Ridgeline? I like how the Civic used to be the compact economy car, and now it's enormous and expensive. Honda is just like Toyota. They're not really innovating, at least not in the US market. It's a snapshot of the past. There's no innovation. There's no design updates. There's no mechanical updates. They're resisting the EV movement. And worst of all, there's no Prelude. And no S2000. Crossover. 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 Let's take a look at some cars that'll be worthless in 10 years. Land Rover. Although I will say I like that that's a two-door. It's funny that the girls that are working there are all waving at me while I'm trashing their cars. Land Rover. Cars that are so low, you can't actually rove any land. I really like the rear end of the Jaguar F-Type. Don't tell my friend Chris. If you see this, Chris, just forget you heard this, but this car looks really good. It's probably horrendously unreliable, but it looks great. It's a car. It's a two-door. Chevy. I want to see the truck that Joe Biden drove. Is this a Colorado? It actually looks really nice. What the hell is this? Trax? True urban legend. Give me a break. It's a Hyundai Ioniq 5. This is like the Kia, same platform. I think it looks a lot better. It's got like a real futuristic cyberpunk look to it. My only gripe is that it's a crossover. Otherwise, great looking car. Hey, it's a California Camry. Here's a Canoe. It's a truck named Canoe. This thing just keeps getting weirder and weirder every time I see it. At first, when they showed off the truck, I thought it was okay, but it just gets weird. Oh, look, it's Mullet 5 with their debut product, the Crossover. It's not that bad for a crossover. Oh, look, it's another crossover. I don't know. The Hyundai Kona isn't that bad. Kind of reminds me of my buddy Mark's Scion box. I drove that around for a year, sold it back to him. 7 of 9. I'm a dork. So this one, I felt so bad that I couldn't even say anything while I was walking through because there is nobody here. The only two people here could not care less about being here. I guess this is what happened to the Ford Excursion. It's basically went the way of the dodo. Nobody wants this. Wow. This is really, really surprising to me how much I like the Veloster. First of all, the performance is really impressive. It's got something like 300 horsepower. Go ahead and fact check that. But I also like the way it looks. That tiny little hatch is pretty much useless. And here is where I'm noticing that there are 2 doors on the passenger side, but there's only 1 door on the driver's side. The car is asymmetrical, and I love it. This kind of reminds me of a Hoovie's Corvette. Expect anything different from Alan Ed's Auto Sound. This is the only place where you can bump your stereo 10 feet from a police car and not get a ticket. Trust me, I have experience with this. All right, this car deserves my respect. It's an E30 with a giant BMW motor shoehorned into it. I bet it's quick as hell. This car, daily driven my ass. There's no filters on those turbos. If you were actually driving this anywhere, you would grenade the motor. I mean, maybe it used to be daily driven because the interior's trash, but that's not daily driven. This really makes me happy to see. I like this. I got nothing bad to say about it. By the way, where are the rest of the cars? I'm pretty much done with the exhibit. Usually, this exhibit takes up pretty much this entire space, but there's nothing here. I'm really disappointed. Really genuinely disappointed. I think there's more mattresses here than there are cars. And we're back out looking at Corvettes again. 69. Nice. This car's probably worth about $2 or $3 million. The 53 Vet. There's probably some heritage behind this one too that makes it worth that much money. It's so cool. I'd probably get the totally rad Corvette though. But this I think is the best looking. Selfie time. Well, I got a Honda Prelude Hot Wheels. Whenever I find a car that I own, I get it. And even though I don't own a 5th generation, I own a 3rd. I can't be picky. So that's going to wrap up my time here at the LA Auto Show. Overall, I'm definitely very disappointed at the custom car haul. There were not very many cars at all. Less than I've ever seen anytime I've ever been there. Usually, that part of the auto show is packed. And this time, most of it was just, all of it was roped off. There was nothing there. So I'm definitely very disappointed there. I was expecting to see a lot of crossovers. That doesn't necessarily make it any better when I see a lot of crossovers. But I saw some very nice looking electric cars, like genuine cars. I would say GM has a lot coming down in the future. A lot of great things coming in the future, but right now, nothing. Ford, great. Really, really great. Between the Mach-E, the Lightning, and the van, Ford is really good. I also like Nissan. They've got the Leaf, which is revamped and has a respectable range now. It's a car. It's a hatchback, 4 doors, really basic. And for getting around, I am totally on board with it. And by the way, the Z is amazing. And then Subaru, I mean, they have crossovers, but you expect them to have crossovers. I'm actually okay with Subaru having crossovers. That's kind of their thing. It's kind of always been their thing. So the fact that they are now introducing electrics into their lineup is really cool. My favorite, and this is very unexpected for me, because I don't really have a soft spot for Porsches at all, but my favorite electric car was the Porsche Taycan, because it was a car. None of these others were cars. So that's going to cap off this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.